Karl Rove is with us as of right. Is that yes? Karl Rove is there. I'm sorry, I didn't know whether you were there or not. Is there any great significance to this, that they'll have to play the nuclear card and go to 51 votes to confirm him?
Yeah, there will be. First of all, it's a sign of the continuing deterioration of partisanship in the Senate. The Democrats who spoke so vociferously against doing judges, Supreme Court judges on 51 votes, today, were opposed to that before. So, and look, it's a sad day when the Senate gets into these kind of knots. A guy who was appointed to the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals with a unanimous vote in the Senate is now the subject of a highly partisan, divisive vote for the Supreme Court. It's unnecessary, it's inappropriate, and Democrats will regret the day that this happened, as will, at some point, Republicans.
But because, I think the Democrats will regret it if there is another vacancy on the Supreme Court that emerges in President Trump's first term. Because next time around, there'll be none of this 60 votes required, it'll be 51, and the Republicans have got them. And you could be replacing a liberal justice with a conservative, which would really rearrange the balance of the Supreme Court.
Absolutely. It probably means no president is going to be able to get their nominee to the Supreme Court if they don't control the Senate without a great deal of difficulty. If you have a minority situation in the Senate like Clinton had for much of his term, it'd be very problematic. If you nominated a justice in your second term like Obama when he had a Republican Senate, it would have been problematic.
I really feel that voters are angry about this. They don't like it. And I don't think they liked it when the president's health care bill was withdrawn that Friday, what, 10 days ago. They didn't like that. And now we have Senator Rand Paul plays golf with the president, and after the game he says, we're closer than ever to a deal on health care. Karl, you know the inside of this stuff. Does that mean that President Trump and Speaker Ryan are moving closer to the Freedom Caucus position?
Well, first of all, be careful about reading too much into Senator Paul's words. He said that we were moving closer to repeal of Obamacare. He didn't say repeal and replace. And right from the beginning, he has been a fervent advocate of, if need be, just repeal Obamacare and hope that in the next couple of years something pops up to replace it. So I was struck by the fact that it wasn't repeal and replace, it was repeal only. Look, Republicans understand this is a huge problem for them not to get something done on this. They spent since 2010 talking about this in campaigns, and the failure to get it done a week ago last Friday is a real challenge to the image of the party as being able to govern. So are they going to try and tackle it again? Yes. Is that likely to happen soon? I don't know. I don't think so. Is it likely to happen eventually? Maybe, but it's going to require a lot of attention, a lot of a lot of hard work, and it's also going to require people to compromise, because this thing went down because people wouldn't compromise.
Well, Karl, what chance of a flat-out, simple repeal? That's it. That's all the bill contains. Repeal it, and then work on replacement later. What's the chances of that?
I think the chances are zero, because you will immediately toss off of the exchanges overnight 10.2 million people. And I think there's been a widespread recognition that there needs to be some kind of a transition period. Remember, last year the Republicans did a straight repeal, but they gave themselves and they set that measure through the House, through the Senate, and President Obama vetoed it. But in there was a 2-year transition period during which the expectation was we'll come up with repeal legislation. But if you have strictly a repeal with no transition period and the exchanges end overnight, that's really problematic. And I think it's even problematic now if you have a transition period, because the Democrats will say by the time we get around to the 2018 election, 10 million Americans are going to be losing their insurance courtesy of the Republicans because they don't have a good answer.
I tell you, Karl, I've been taking a lot of flack because my position is that the Freedom Caucus made a mistake, that they should have gotten in line, passed that bill or whatever, but do something, and I think they missed the chance. And I'm taking heat for it, and so are you.
I'm with you, man. I agree with you entirely. Look, the House bill was not going to be the perfect bill because it was going to be the start of the process. So they made the bill better by making 4 suggestions that were reasonable. And then it could have been made better in the Senate and hopefully then made better in the conference committee that would have to resolve the differences. But they were not practical, and they said things that were fundamentally not true, and they're still saying them today. I noticed Jim Jordan said, well, we need to do something about community rating. Well, the bill on page 67 and 68 gets rid of community rating, returns it to what's called 5-to-1. You can charge somebody, older people, up to 5 times what you charge a younger person. That's because older people have on balance roughly about 4.8 times the amount of coverage, a draw on the insurance coverage that they have, as do younger people. It returned it to that situation, and yet we're still hearing some of the members, as recently as this weekend, say of the Freedom Caucus, we got to do something about community rating. Well, read the bill, for God's sake. It says it could be 5-to-1 or any standard any state wants. When the Affordable Care Act was passed, 42 states had a 5-to-1 band. Only one state had 3-to-1, which is what the Affordable Care Act had. That was Minnesota.
Cheer up, Carl. We'll get that tax cut sooner or later.
Absolutely. We'll get the tax cut, and then we'll get repeal and replacement of Obamacare under the Varney plan.
Okay. So you can blame me. Okay, Carl.
No,
I got it.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Karl Rove, everyone. Thanks for being with us, Carl. Good stuff. Yes, sir.